Hey everybody. So here is an update from yesterday's D&D campaign that was live. Um, so the party started in Steelhome, just as we all thought they would, just as we knew they would, and went to Fort Redbeard. No problems there. Everything happened in Redbeard just exactly as we talked about. They were having their dinner. Laser beam comes down, burns through a bunch of people. Party runs out, starts to figure out what's going on, figures out that where the laser beam came from, more or less. And the General Redbeard says, "Hey, go take a look." Party says, "Definitely, we're on it." Mike, the guy who's getting engaged to his daughter, was super happy to have an excuse like, "Whoa, hold on, I can't get that." We could just delay the engagement party a little longer. He's getting cold feet about the wedding. So he was happy to take off. Party gets to Caldera, where they see mostly Caldera damaged. They go and talk with the local lord, who they have some workings with in the past and a good relationship. And he says, "Holy shit, everything's fucked up. Can you guys take a look at this?" And the party's like, "Yeah, we're on it. So then they head off towards Splash Mountain. When they're on their way to Splash Mountain, they get attacked by a flock of mechanical battle chickens. The party, sees them in the distance, sends out like a scout who then rides back because they all have horses. And they look for the closest tree and then ride to the tree. I think they're about to get treed by metal chickens, but they decide just to like form a circle around the tree, which then becomes just a line around the tree. So I don't know what the tree had to do with it, but whatever. They go over to the tree and they shoot at the chickens until they get there, and then they hop off their horses and they start battling with the chickens. And one of the characters got double crit by two different chickens and almost died, but it was okay. They saved him. And the horses got pretty low HP because for a round or two they sat on their horses, like swinging down at the mechanical battle chickens below them. And then what happened? Then they decided to rest. Or they traveled for a little bit longer and then they went to sleep. The next day they keep traveling and they come across the Juggernaut with the Gully Dwarves with them. And they see the Juggernaut coming in a distance. And after the mechanical battle chickens, they're kind of worried. They're like, "Shit, this guy's going to come and fuck us up. Oh no." So one of the guys like rides along the side to go see what's up. And they just see like these Gully Dwarves just kind of like hanging out on the guy. And then a couple Gully Dwarves like run up to talk to the party. And the Gully Dwarves like, "Go away, we don't want you. Big Master says go away, or Juggernaut get you." And the party's like, "No, Big Master told us we need to come." So they totally fucking tricked the Gully Dwarves, who were stupid as shit. And the Gully Dwarves are like, "Really? I don't know." And then they start to get a little suspicious, and the party just like rides past them. And the Gully Dwarves that are still on the Juggernaut, because those were like the scout Gully Dwarves that came out to talk, see them coming, and they all fucking freak out, turn the Juggernaut on, and just run away. The party starts. Meanwhile, so while that whole conversation was going, the guy that had scouted ahead, like, kind of just came up to the Juggernaut, and the Gully Dwarves were just kind of picking their nose and staring at him, being like, "Whatever, he's here," because Gully Dwarves are stupid as shit. And so he takes out his grappling hook and like started climbing up the Juggernaut because he's just whatever. I'll climb on top of it. And while he's like halfway up the Juggernaut is when the rest of the party comes up, and the Gully Dwarves turn the Juggernaut on out of fear. And so the Gully Dwarves scatter. Mike, the elven fighter who is getting engaged to General Redbeard's daughter, is most of the way up the Juggernaut. The party starts fighting it. The ranger comes around, like tries to see if there's an off switch somewhere. Juggernaut starts like trying to smash him, then he runs away. The others are like shooting magic missiles and bows and arrows and shit at the Juggernaut, dealing like not a lot of damage. And then Mike climbs to the top, smashes the glass dome that like covers its mechanical head. I told the party it kind of looked like the Clockwork guys from the Madame de Pompadour episode of Doctor Who. So he smashes the glass on the head and then takes his custom-made walking stick crossbow. It's like looks like a walking stick, but the flip of a switch, it pops out into a crossbow that you can then load and fire. So it was pretty cool. We spent a long time working on that. So he takes that and like slams it into the gears, which grind to a halt, and the Juggernaut stops, and the crossbow gets destroyed in the process. And after that, they're kind of like, "Well, that was interesting. Okay." And the ranger, not Mike, not the elephant guy that climbed, but the half-elven ranger, rides off, tracks one of the Gully Dwarves, and finds him like cowering in a little crevice in the ground, like terrified out of his mind. He goes down to pick him up, and the Gully Dwarf freaks out and, like a cornered animal, starts like gnawing on his hand. Except the Gully Dwarf since you don't have a fucking glove on your hand when you're firing a bow. The Gully Dwarf rolled a natural 20, so he ended up triple critting the ranger's hand, or no, double critting the ranger's hand, because Gully Dwarves don't really get any bonuses to hit. Nonetheless, he rolled 3d4 for damage and rolled 4, 4, and 3. So that's 8 and 3, that's 11 damage, and the ranger only had 14 HP, so the ranger is down to 3 HP after this Gully Dwarf like bites this giant fucking hole in his hand, which, gave him -2 to penalty attacks, and like, he rolled fairly high on the damage table, or on the critical effects table. So the ranger got super fucked up, drops the Gully Dwarf in anger, spits on it, and rides off back to the rest of the party. The rest of the party gives him so much shit for getting his hand almost bitten off by a Gully Dwarf that he's just like sulking for a while. And then they traveled a little bit further, and they almost got to the mountain before we had to end for the night. So they're just about outside of Splash Mountain. And that is our update for Behind the Screen. All right, so we're gonna do misclicks in a little bit, and I'll hope to see you guys in 2 weeks for our next episode of Behind the Screen.